Now, welcome to a review of the 6th episode of The Penguin on HBO Max, where, as usual, we started with Naboo's thoughts on this episode.
I think I say every week how much better the episodes get as time goes on, but it's true. Every little bit of detail that we learn more about the characters just makes me so much more invested about the show. I'm glad they didn't put Batman in this show. I know at the beginning people thought, how are you going to do Penguin without Batman? But if you put Batman in the show, Penguin turns into 100% a villain, and you're now rooting against him.
He's only like 99% a villain right now.
Well, we know he's not the greatest guy, but at the same time, without having that hero in there trying to stop him, we get to root for him, even though he's not good.
Yeah.
His dream is coming true.
He
wanted
the
to
man,
be that guy. The guy who puts all the little guys together. The guy who is doing the best for the neighborhood. He's giving them all jobs, giving them all money. I'm looking out for the people. Darn you, senators and you rich folks with your electricity. We need electricity too. He's doing what he needs to do to help the people who need help.
He wants to be that guy that is going to inspire the next person like him to one day take the reins and help the little people in not the best of ways.
Yeah. I mean, he really changed Victor. Victor's confidence has gone up, but now with his confidence going up, he has now murdered somebody.
That was a very, obviously traumatic for Victor, the character. But for you, you're like, oh, this is such a horrible situation because
buying him off didn't work. He tried.
Well, yeah, as terrible as it sounds to say it, like, you knew he had to kill him, right? There's, like, no other way. And, I mean, it's so funny how this show puts you into that perspective of the bad guy where you're rooting for Victor and you're like, I don't want Victor to kill somebody because I like Victor and I like to think of him as still a good person. And yet at the same time, I root for Victor knowing he's a criminal. So I'm like, shoot him. You got to do it. Shoot him. And then, of course, he kind of shoots him in the neck. And it's
sloppy.
It's ugly. And he's kind of... And he plays that really well. I don't remember the actor's name, but he plays that really well where he's like... he gets angry. Like, why did you make me do that?
I remember he was from Encanto and played the shape-shifting...
Like, that was beautifully done. The acting in this show...
Wonderful.
Just... Every week it is just on point because you can understand, like, why did you understand his anger. Like, I didn't want to do that, but you made me do it. And it's kind of like a coping mechanism.
Which is something that Penguin does too. I don't want to do it, I did it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure any quote-unquote good person who has ever been put in a situation where they have to... I mean, not that this is a good example of like having to kill somebody despite me using that terminology, but... I'm sure there's that, like, why did I have to be in this situation to do that?
What's interesting to note is... when he tried to lay his problems out to Oz, when he tried to tell Oz about the problem, Oz will take care of it, was he, though? Because remember, after Victor did what he thought needed to be done, after Victor took care of business, he comes to Oz, and Oz is like, yeah, it's that guy, right?
Yeah, he knew.
I think Oz knew the entire time, but wanted Victor to grow and handle his own problems. I don't have the impression at all that Oz wasn't listening. Oz is always paying attention. Oz has all the information in every room. I think he deliberately pretended to not hear him to encourage Victor to take care of his own problem.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because we've discussed before how there's this really kind of strange father-son dynamic. I mean, not your traditional let's go play catch in the yard kind of father-son dynamic, but he's trying to, like, it gets easier is what he tells him, killing somebody. And it's just like, God, it's
not what you want to hear.
No, it's not what you want to hear, but you're like, Penguin actually, Oz actually cares about him. And he's giving him this kind of like life lesson and advice about, killing people gets easier as you do it more. It's kind of surreal watching this because you're on their side. You like these characters and you're like, my God, he's like helping him become a murderer, like telling him, you're going to have to do this again, almost certainly, but it's going to be easier next time.
I love how Oz is always able to get everyone on his side. He acknowledged at the Golden Summit, he acknowledged what a scummy person he's been. And I'm a schmoozer, I betray people. But you know what? We're all the little guys. He gets everyone on his side.
Yeah, they don't know your names. Yeah,
we don't know if he's playing a new angle, if he's eventually going to get rid of all them too. But at the moment, it works.
Yeah, I like the whole give everybody a beer kind of thing, and they're like, what the hell is it? And then at the end, they all open the beer.
They open the beer. They all decided, you know what, we might hate each other, but you know what? They're tired of being the little guys. They're tired of, I have to work for the big crime families, or I just don't get a piece of Gotham.
Yeah.
They deserve a piece of Gotham in their opinions. And by working together, they're going to take it.
Yeah, they're going to actually have the power now instead of working for the people who don't even know your names, don't care enough to even acknowledge your
speech,
existence beyond using you.
For people who watch our Andor reviews, that was a Luthen Rail-esque speech, let me just say. It was getting to that level. That was a beautifully delivered speech. His passion, his anger, his righteous indignation, and then him settling it down to, here's my heart truth.
Yeah, the Luthen speech is one of the best monologues ever.
But this one was special
it's
too.
Good. It's good. I can't deny that. Yeah, the whole just the way he delivers it too. Just the acting in the show. It's like, God, you believe them. You know what I mean? Like you're there with them, and you're like motivated to be rooting for this really evil guy. And it's crazy. It's crazy how well it works. Right. You would think if someone would explain to you what the show was, you'd be like, well, why am I going to be rooting for these? Like, why do I care? It's a bunch of like criminals trying to outdo each other.
Yeah, if I tried to tell my dad, you want to watch the show? It's all about Penguin and the gangs. Is Batman in it? No, I'll pass.
Yeah, I mean,
he wouldn't go for it.
And yet, from what we hear, the ratings keep going up because people keep raving about how good it is, how interesting it is.
If the show is good and the word of mouth is good, if I told my friends to watch this, they would believe me, and then they'd get hooked too, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the couple people I know watching it have all, in real life kind of people have all said, yeah, this is just such an excellent show. Like, it's crazy how good this is.
What else was interesting in this episode is I was really disappointed in Eve's betrayal.
Oh, well...
I mean, yes, Eve looks at it as Oz betrayed me first. He didn't tell me who the hangman was. He covered it up.
Well, sure,
the one who killed my friends.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Let me believe that the hangman was behind bars. Then let me believe that this person's the hangman, and they're not.
Well, it's interesting because Sophia gets rewarded for her mercy, for not giving in to just hatred and vengeance and just killing Eve because she can and she wants to because
hurt him, yeah,
exactly. And so it's such a weird moment because you're like, again, the show just the twists and the turns and the roller coaster. Like, because one moment you're sitting there like, God, I hope she doesn't shoot Eve because I like Eve, and because Penguin likes Eve, and then it's like Eve betrays Penguin. You're like, that little bitch.
But at the same time, Oz wasn't there to defend himself.
No.
Sophia is making, and I know I'm weird, I'm taking Oz's side on this, but like, Sophia is assuming Oz knew everything. Oz may have said, hey, Sophia met with I don't think Oz the journalist.
Knew.
She met with the journalist, and I maybe overheard that they were talking about these cases, but does that necessarily equate to, I know that your dad was murdering the women and not you?
Exactly. I don't think Oz knew that much.
Yeah.
He may have
an inkling or had an idea of it, but the fact that apparently these killings also seemed to stop when Sophia went to jail.
Yeah.
Is nobody was talking about the hangman anymore because he was covering his tracks or whatnot.
Yeah, because I'm assuming he didn't control himself and stop, per se,
but maybe he just got better at hiding things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he now had that, now that the hangman has been caught and the killings have maybe stopped for a little while.
It's just very interesting that Eve didn't seem to notice or care about other women who were going missing afterwards. It was all about the publicity of the serial killer of the hangman.
Yeah.
That's what she was afraid of, but we don't know exactly how much Oz knew about the situation. He has not come out and said, yeah, Sophia, I know it wasn't you. I know it was your father. And then there's the cliffhanger of an ending. Sophia showed up when Oz just got the electricity. The heat's on. Her music is on.
Yep.
His mother is dancing. The mother that Sophia thought was dead.
Yes. And that was such an interesting moment because we didn't know that she didn't know that Oz's mom was alive until she's like, well, she's got nobody. Or he's got nobody. His mother is dead. And you're like, oh, very clever, Oz.
Why would you admit that you still have connection?
Yeah.
Especially one that was so important to him. So it was clever for him to hide it, but now Sophia knows.
And she's there. She's got your two favorite people, on Oz's side lined up and ready to, who knows?
And Vic's not in the right state of mind because he was just getting over freaking out about do I have blood on my shoe. I mean, I told him to get rid of the clothes and he kept the shoes. That makes me nervous. Because
you feel like there's
something
more to that, yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that the speech from his mother in this episode, too, just when my mind is gone, when I'm a vegetable,
oh, God.
I don't want to be alive anymore. I was like, oh, my God.
Well, it's such a horror.
Horrible. And can you imagine a parent having to say that to a child?
Or a child having to hear that from a parent and having to take that to heart.
And that probably hits home for a lot of people. My grandmother had Alzheimer's when she got very old. She was old and she had cancer, and we were taking her appointments and she couldn't remember which family member was with her. She didn't know we were taking her every day or who was taking her and when we saw her last and who we were. So hearing that speech just... it hit on so many levels, and I know a lot of people can relate to this.
Yeah, I had a grandmother who lived to nearly 100, and I mean, in her 70s, her mindset, I mean, she spent 25 years in a nursing home just kind of not knowing and it's just like you listen to that, and you're like, God, that's, you know how many people have to deal with that.
And here's Oz's mom in a lucid moment saying, I don't want to live if I'm not me anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to see what happens when we flash back to this next week. I mean, if Oz's mom is still lucid, could she somehow pretend she's insane? What is the resolve of all of this? How is this going to go? Because I feel like we could probably lose his mother. And what effect is that going to have on Oz? Because there's not just one episode left. We have two.
Yeah. I think one of them is going to die. I think it's going to be his mother. I think Victor is going to be a character that survives, but it wouldn't shock me to see him. I mean, the reason I think Victor lives is he just had this very, again, traumatic experience with killing somebody. So to kill him now would kind of be like, well, you missed the opportunity to do something more with that.
I think that Oz's mom might even sacrifice herself for Vic. To be like, you get out of here, Oz still needs you.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, as much as I do like Oz's mom, I don't think she's...
I think she will. She has an attachment to him.
Well, she also... I mean...
And when she's not in her right mind, she leans on him.
Well, if she is in her right mind, knowing that she has these moments and they're only going to get worse, that may lead her to sacrifice herself, knowing like, hey, this is my moment to go out.
Buy you time, get out of here.
Yeah.
Tell my son.
To go out on my terms, because it's kind of what she wants. That's what she's asking of Oz, is to like, hey, I don't want to sit like a vegetable and stare out the window for years. I want to live on my terms and die on my terms.
I could see the mother possibly sacrificing herself for Vic, for letting Oz go on and try and avenge her.
It's gonna be an interesting next episode.
Yeah, this isn't gonna end without some more blood between the gangs here.
There's no way it ends well. But I think that's going to be all we got for you this time. And now it is your turn. Tell us what you thought of this latest episode. Tell us what you think happens next week. How does this resolve? Whatever the case may be, leave some comments below. Let's talk some Penguin. And until next time, thanks for watching.